There's some private offices, a lot of them are nice. But you'll let a lot of people work at home, you'll be empty. They're very happy with it.